Hi, this is Lael McDill, and I'm going to teach you how to turn your Silly Milly turtle kit into an octopus instead of a turtle. So what you're going to do is use all the parts that your kit comes with, and instead of making a turtle, you're going to make it into an octopus. For this, we're really stretching it. There's just barely enough clay. If you happen to have a little more polymer clay, you can totally throw it into the mix, and maybe you'd get like longer arms. But I'm going to teach you how to make these little like sort of polka dots, and we're going to actually use what would have normally been used for the toenails on that. So the first step with this is, just because we are so short on clay, is you're going to try to make the body just a little bit smaller. So you've got your little tinfoil piece that would normally be your little turtle shell, but I'm going to have you just kind of squeeze it down just a bit. And usually I make these so that there's kind of a little bit of squish still to them. So just kind of shoot for, and then also sort of flattening it. So you're kind of making it into just a slightly smaller ball, okay? You'll see it won't be that hard. Just kind of smash it around a little bit, and then you're gonna sort of flatten it so you get that like base where it's gonna be sitting up, kind of like a little oval. All right, so you've got all your little parts here, but the first part we're gonna use is the Silly Milly. We're gonna do just like you would on the normal making a turtle kit, and that is to make lots of little slices that you're going to cover your tinfoil with. So be conservative here, because if you have any little leftovers of this, we'll actually use it in the arms also. So I'm going fairly thin, even like smashing them down just a little bit so that they get a little bigger. And I'm just going to cover it all up. Once you get it all generally covered, you can sort of roll it in your hands, roll it on the table. It's pretty much like a ball shape, so yeah, it's a really good way to get the colors all smoothed out. You can also use a rolling pin or a Crayola marker, works really well. And get all those little tiny bits of tinfoil that are peeking out, just like that. So there we go. There it is. And now I'm going to put the eyes on first, because I want to make sure that I don't squish them on accident and I get them out of the way. So the thing with these turtle eyes is they're going to be kind of tiny, and you can kind of try them on if you think they look good, then that way that's fine. But here's a way where you can make them just a little bit bigger. So I just lay them next to each other about the distance that you might want to be putting them on there, and take a rolling pin and gently flatten them. The cool thing about these rolling pins, you can see right through, you can kind of see what's happening. And once I've got them flattened, there we go, I can scrape them up with my slicing tool, and then find the spot where they're gonna go and just pop them on there. See, made them a little bit bigger. And they're pretty much the same design. It's a little wonky, but hey, you know, that's the fun part. So I've got my little head, and now to make your toenails and your little parts turn into these cool polka dots, this is what you're going to do. You're going to start with your little toenail piece, and pick a color that might pop out kind of nice against its background color, maybe this one. And I'm just going to use, I'm going to save a little bit of it, because I want to use that on one of my other little polka dots. So we're going to make two different kinds of polka dots. So I'm flattening this into a pretty flat, thin sheet. And now your kit might come with either 3 or 4 colors. One thing you can always do if you only got 3 colors is you might take a look at those 3 colors and see if any 2 of them might make another color. So that could be a fun thing to do. If you got like yellow and green, you could make, or yellow and blue, you could make green. So I made like a nice little flat blanket, and I'm just gonna wrap this little mini Silly Milly up. Don't worry if it doesn't reach, and don't worry if it overlaps, but generally just getting it all wrapped up. And then I'm going to take another color, one that'll pop out kind of nice. I think this turquoise is the best. I'm still going to save some of it, maybe only using half of it, because I'm going to make a pretty thin sheet all the way around it. Let's see if I can get that to work. This is going to be really stretching it to get it all the way around. Might just go part way around. Still looks really good if you only go part way around, which that might be the case here. So yeah, it just goes part way around. That's fine. Okay, so I've got that. I'm looking at what else I have for colors. That's probably good. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to take these colors. I'm going to start with the smallest one. I'm going to go smallest to largest. So I'm going to make a little worm with the smallest one and then next largest. Or you can also think about colors, because it's kind of nice to either go like light to dark or to go light, dark, light, dark. That looks pretty cool. It's really up to you. The more like variety, well, I was going to say the more different the colors are from each other, like when you do light, dark, it really pops out. But then going light to dark can really look really cool too. It's always going to look cool, whatever it is, as long as they're colors you like. That's what I always say. So I'm wrapping that up. I made my blanket this way because that's going to work pretty well. Wrap right around there. Then I'm going to go with this pink and just wrap it around. Making my little blanket. Getting it wrapped around there. And I'm not burning too much. This is over wrapping. That's cool. If it under wrapped, that'd be cool too. Last one. Now whatever you use last technically will show more than the other colors because it will show a lot on the edges. You might want to keep that in mind too. I think this will be a good color to have showing last just because it kind of goes with the little poppies that are on the outside of my other one. So making another nice little blanket. Now if I really wanted this pink to show a little more, I could just kind of pat that back and then that would make it show more. So that's up to you. It might show a little bit just because I didn't get it all the way wrapped. Okay, so now I've got two little bundles. One is a little bigger than the other. That's fine. So I'm gonna snake these out, as I call it. Snake them out very, very long and thin. Think of the thickness of a skinny straw. Like skinnier than your normal kind of straw that you might use. Or like a noodle. Yeah, think of a spaghetti noodle. Okay, so we got this long little noodle going on here. I'm going to do the same thing with my other little bundle, the one that has the little tiny silly Milly in there. Snake that out really far again. Now this one, make sure you don't do it too fast. It might even help to do a little stretching, because if that silly Milly is a little harder, depending on how long it was made and the clay, how stiff the clay was, you don't want it to like break up inside. So do it very gently. Stretch it out, whatever diameter you want. I wouldn't go too much tinier because you don't want to lose that picture completely. It might disappear, but it's okay. So at this point, you've got this. Now, if you had any of your silly Milly left, you could also take that and squish it down really tiny too, just to add in some other little spots. I'm just gonna go ahead and make it really skinny. It'll barely show up, but it kind of just adds to the bulk of the little legs. So I'm making myself a little collection here of little tiny skinny worms. And I'm gonna put these together, try to make them all the same length. So I'm gonna make this guy really skinny so he can kind of keep up with the rest. And then I'm gonna take whatever's left over here of this other bundle, and I'm gonna make it long enough to match up with these guys. So I've got a little grouping of little worms. And now I'm going to pretty much cut this into thirds, I think is what it, well, just all depends. Maybe I'll do halves. It all depends on what you've got. So I am gonna chop it into 4 pieces. I'm gonna make them just a little bit, not all the same size. So see how I made 2 of them a little bit bigger? And then I'm gonna line them up. So the shorter ones need to get stretched out just a little bit. And line them up so they make a little flat sort of pile. See how those little polka dots are coming out? Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so what I can do here is I can kind of smooth this together. This is basically the edge of your little octopus arm. So I'm smoothing that. That's up to you. You don't have to smooth it. Might look cool even not smooth, but it kind of helps stick them all together. So see how I'm pinching it a little bit down the line to make it a little pointier? Those are going to be my tips of my little octopus arms. You can kind of see the general concept there. Now, of course, I need to divide that into 8s. I'm going to slice off just the tiniest sliver on the end here because I'm going to take that and I'm going to swirl it together just a little bit, make a little smile for my guy. So I probably don't need the whole thing, maybe just a little pinch of it and twist it. And then I can try on my little smile. See how that's going to show up. It's kind of subtle, but it's there. You could use another color. You could save a little bit if you wanted to from your other. Well, here's a little more pinker, actually. Sometimes you just got to try on different pieces. This piece has got a lot of pink in it, so maybe I'll just use that. And if I don't twist it as much, the pink will show up more. You can try on different smiles here. That's kind of fun, huh? Okay, so now he's waiting for his little legs. Very important to get 8 legs, right? So I chop it in half, and I chop each half in half, and then I chop each of those halves in half. That makes 8 evenly spaced arms. And then I'm going to take each one and I can smash it and flatten it, stretch it just a bit, just enough so that I can at least get a little curl out of there. And then it's up to you. You can play around with how you shape those, but there's one arm. And I'm just going to keep taking each little leg. You can make up all kinds of different ways to twist your little arms up and make them do anything you want. It's all up to you. You can make them, you could be saying, or not. Or maybe scratching his head. It's fun to play around with it. Make up your own thing. Maybe they're just going right around. Maybe they all make exactly the same little swoosh. It's all up to you. You can try doing some little kind of twists like that. And you can get that last little tip part kind of long, and then, that gives you a little more room to sort of twirl it and place it on there. So it goes, there we go. We got 4 legs on. And I'm just going to keep on building around and around. All 8 legs. I'm being careful not to smash his eyes. They're pretty solid, but I don't want to mess them up. And work my way around. Once you get them all on there, you can change them a little bit too if you want. Usually it works out pretty well. Sometimes you get where you're running out of space and you might need to move the legs around a little bit to make sure you have room for each little part. But there he goes. He's got all this little fun legs. We've got a little octopus.